Cyrus Beats.
Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Greg, aka Cyrus Beats. I'm back here with another movie review of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie review is a 15th anniversary, so the anniversary was October 11th, and I really wanted to see this movie. I've seen it before, but it's been like so many years. I seen it when I was a teenager, probably had no business watching this. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw used to scare the living hell out of me when I was a teenager, when I was a kid, whenever I saw it. And yeah, I got to see the 50th anniversary, so I want to do a movie review of honoring this classic here. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is directed by Tobe Hooper. He directed The Poltergeist, I believe, so he has a few classics underneath his belt that has inspired the horror genre as a whole. And it stars Merlin Burns, who unfortunately she passed away a few years back now, and then it stars the iconic Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface. I would rate this movie, I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10. I know that it's not my first 10 out of 10. The reason why is because I know this movie has gone on to inspire like multiple horror movies, like especially with the slasher genre. But long story short, what the synopsis of this movie is, a group of teenagers are traveling across Austin. They want to visit their grandfather or family member's grave, go to their old house, and I believe this all takes place in Austin, Texas, I believe. And then they come across a deranged hitchhiker, and then all hell breaks loose. Like, you know, they start getting picked off one by one. That's the basic premise of this movie. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is hard to crap on it because obviously, like I said, it's went on to inspire so many cliches within the slasher genre, within the horror genre, right? So what I like about this movie is the tracking shots. Like the shots are very unique. It's funny how like that's actually gonna turn into a dislike of mine later. But some of the shots, like, how do I explain this? So there's one particular shot that I remember where one of the characters is sitting on the bench in front of like Leatherface's house. She's walking up, and instead of the tracking shot going like falling over like a typical shot would be, I guess in the 1970s, or maybe that was just his unique take on it. He follows her underneath the bench, almost like grass level. And there's a couple of shots like that, like where it's like grass level. I'm not sure what it intended to be, but those weird shots made it feel like just different. Like it just made you feel uneasy because you're not used to even seeing those kind of shots. And I've seen movies in the 1970s, so a lot of those shots just was not the norm. So it kind of reminds me of Alfred Hitchcock, where he would obscure his camera angle to kind of give you that naturally give you an uneasy feeling. I'm not sure if that was Hooper's intention or what, I don't know, but it worked. Like it made me just feel uneasy naturally watching certain scenes because it was like unorthodox. Like it was just unorthodox kind of thing. So going into my other is how deranged this movie feels. Like I said, with certain shots, tracking shots where it's like grass level, or whether behind the character or in front of them. Even the acting, once again, a lot of this stuff kind of transferred over to some of my dislikes, but even like the deranging, how certain characters are deranged, like the hitchhiker is deranged, like how he does stuff, it's just weird, right? And then there's a few scenes at the end of this movie where it's just chaotic as hell. Like, yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, like, you know, but that's that. Going into my dislikes, I would say the acting is dated as hell. Like this movie is dated. You can definitely tell that it takes place in the 1970s, but you know, you can't fault a movie for its time period. So it's not like a hard dislike. But the acting is not the greatest in the world, right? They're not winning no Oscars, but it's all right though. I can live with that. And then certain editing was just, I don't know, just questionable. Especially like the first half, like the first like 30 minutes of this movie. It almost tempted me to turn it off because I'm like, oh man, this is just too old for me. I know like maybe some guys who are watching this video are probably like, oh, this is too old, but long story short, yeah, that was the only negatives I could say is acting's not that great. It's not the greatest. Okay, it's a horror movie. You don't really need them to be Oscar worthy. Fine. And then the editing choices, and especially just the first half, were just kind of like edited weird. I don't know, but yeah, man, this is a good movie. I can understand now. I see how this movie became what it became. Like how it launched a whole series of movies, right? It was different, it was very different. And then I seen this movie, like I said, when I was a teenager, one time, and it was kind of like in passing, and then this is the first time I really sat down and watched it, and it stuck with me, like not like in a I'm scared any kind of way. I slept like a baby, because a lot of the horror cliches, like this isn't really scary to me, or it wouldn't be scary from our generation, but there's just certain elements of that movie that I just found myself thinking about, So I definitely see why this is a classic in many eyes. Leatherface, I can see why he's classic as well. The movie just makes you feel uneasy. I felt very uneasy and anxious watching this movie. I didn't really feel scared, but I just felt anxious. Like I said, with certain shots, some of the characters, how they acted. Hooper succeeded in making the viewer feel uneasy. Like, I would give him that. But that is my movie review of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Happy 50th anniversary. A classic. I would rate it at 9 out of 10. I appreciate you guys for watching. We can continue to drop these videos, continue to drop classic views, new movies that come out. I appreciate you. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.